Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 3, Episode 7, Choir of Chaos. Yeah, well guys, the choir auditions are still going on. I don't know how, there were only 6 people in line, but yes, they are. We are picking up exactly where we left off last week. Jen is the hype man, the Ryan Seacrest of the operation, and she is going out to, get the crowd excited and generate as much, hooping and hollering as she can out of, less than a dozen people, literally. So she's out there, hey everybody, and she's talking into her megaphone thing. Jen notices Angie H is there. I don't know how she missed her before, in her weird gold fringy flapper dress and with red opera gloves and a Uncle Sam hat. She and Whitney are like going over their routine over and over again. Yeah, they have a whole dance number to When the Saints Go Marching In. Did a Bravo producer put them up to this? There must be an explanation. They're not good at, any of it. They're not good singers. They're not good dancers. This routine isn't even good enough for TikTok or a USO show. Angie's black Spanx are showing. It's a mess. It's a mess. Okay, is it me? Is it just me? It must be me, because the first auditioner, who looks like a real person auditioning to be in this choir, his song choice is When the Saints Go Marching In. Maybe they had a list of songs to choose. I don't know, but when he says that's his song choice, Heather just seems very delighted. Okay, well, this guy can sing, and he's not in gold fringe, so, points for that. Meanwhile, outside, we have Angie K and Rando Dana talking about Heather H, who's about 2 feet behind them, feverishly rehearsing her steps with Whitney. Side note, I think Angie H just realized that her black shorts are showing. If you looked up hot mess in the dictionary, it would be a short video of this routine right here. So Dana says to Angie K, you know Angie H, right? Angie K. No, I don't know her. I just know what I hear from Jen and Lisa, and I don't like it. Can't imagine why. But did you notice how quickly Angie K is distancing herself from Angie H? She knows what's up. Side note, if I don't use a pic of these two for my thumbnail, it will only be because something even more insane happened after this. Okay, well now the 2 Angies are interacting with each other and it's not super friendly. First, Angie H approaches random friend Dana. I know you're good friends with Heather. I tried to talk to Lisa at ski day, and she would not even talk to me. Then Angie K comes in, and she's coming in hot. Angie, look, I'm just going to tell you. Then Dana goes, I think we should explain. Angie K, I like everybody, and I wanted to like you. But then I saw you in that outfit, and I heard that your 52-year-old husband, Chris, is creating Finsta accounts and trolling the other ladies, and I just can't. What she really says is, but if you're going to talk behind Lisa's back, then don't approach her. And don't try to be her friend, and don't hug her, because it's phony. Angie H, what did I do? What did I do to her? Tell me what I did. Angie K, you opened up fake accounts with your spouse and then criticized her on social media. Now we get Angie K's first confessional. The account may have been named Shah Exposed, but it was really targeting Lisa. Okay, so Angie Harrington says, I have never opened up a fake account. Never in my whole life. Okay, time out. This is what offends me about Angie and Chris Harrington. You're dumb, and you think everybody else is dumb. I'll be the first to say I love a good villain. This is all entertainment for me, people, and the villains definitely have their place on these shows. So I love a good villain, but don't insult our intelligence. Does Angie H really think that we believe that she didn't know her husband set up a fake account? You're either insulting us or you really didn't know he had a fake account, and that just makes you look dumb. Either way, it offends me. I'm just saying. Your husband called Jen Shah and admitted it. So why do you not think that these ladies are talking? And also what? The semantics of I myself have never set up a fake account. Sorry. Your 52-year-old idiot of a husband didn't do it without telling you or showing you or whatever. So Angie K, in her confessional, she's lying. She liked a post within 30 seconds of it being put up. You're involved 100%. So Whitney is listening in on this conversation now between the Angies and Rando Dana. And apparently she's hearing for the first time that Chris Harrington created a Finsta account. Because in Whitney's confessional, she said, wait, blink, blink. You're telling me that Chris, a grown-ass man, 52 years old, created a Finsta account to troll Lisa? Yeah. Yes, Whitney, we are. Bravo is showing us a picture of Chris, and his chyron says, Chris Harrington, grown-ass man. Anyway, she goes, I feel really icky and silly right now being in a matching costume with Angie H. Just now you feel silly? Because I could have told you the minute you two walked up in those flapper costumes that you were going to feel icky. I felt icky just looking at it. Side note, the graphics department is working hard this episode. All right, so Jen comes out and she's got her megaphone and she's attempting to hype up the 4 people that are left in line. And Heather's random friend Dana pulls her aside to tell her that Angie K approached Angie H and brought up the Finsta account. I mentioned this last week, but for those of you who don't know what Finsta is, it's just a cute little shortened name that means fake Instagram account. Lots of people do it. There are tons of fake names out there. Happens to Housewives a lot, but this one was called Shah Exposed. So Angie K says she denied all of it. And Jen's like, what? Oh my gosh. Now they're all there. Angie H, Angie K, Rando Dana, Whitney, and Jen. So Angie K is like, I don't know, this is her moment to shine or something. She's really going after Angie H. Maybe it's because she's got the same name. I don't know. Maybe she thinks only one Angie can win. Unclear. But she goes, can you really honestly say you had no idea your husband did this? Angie H. None. Okay. Jen. Angie, you're full of shit. You know what your husband does. Angie H. continues to deny any knowledge. Now, Whitney's actually getting angry at Angie H. because, she also denied saying to Whitney and Heather that Lisa had sex with an ogre for jazz tickets, which, Whitney thinks makes her look like a liar. So now, Whitney sees the similarity here. Jen, okay, you need to take some accountability because he did it. Angie H. Why? Why do I need to take accountability? Jen, because that's your husband. Angie H. I agree. Talk to him. Now Jen's pissed because Angie K won't shut up. Angie K wants to go after Angie H so bad that she keeps interrupting Jen. And Jen's like, can you just, for a minute, this is my deal. Jen's like, I am responsible for Sharif and vice versa. Anything he says, I'm responsible for that. That's your other half. Angie H crying, maybe? I'm not sure. Okay, but the things that you're accused of, is Sharif taking shit for that? Oh, okay, so now we're going to talk about the trial. She's bold. I'll give her that. I just think they're dumb and I think they're too thirsty to be on the show. And that is it's turning me off. Jen, I'm innocent. Heather's assistant pokes his head out right now and he sees all this going down. Inside, things are quiet, serene. Some guy's doing a beautiful rendition of Amazing Grace. It's peaceful and love and angels and happiness inside. But Mark does come, behind Heather and get in her ear and say, there's a situation outside and I think you need to come. Jen is now yelling about the name of the account being her last name and how that hurts her and her family. Yeah, and you know what else? and this just occurred to me now, but it makes it even more sleazy. He told Jen last week, Jen said that he told her, well, that was the name that was available, so I just took it. And the fact of the matter is, this account really is going after Lisa mostly. I don't even think it's going after Jen. So why would you name your account Shah Exposed? It's because Jen, her trial, all of that is in the media right now. How many people do you think will click on Lisa Barlow Exposed as opposed to Shah Exposed? When you know, is this going to be about the trial? Are we going to find out some inside information about what Jen's company did? Right? He chose it on purpose because it would attract more attention with complete disregard for the fact that it was going to hurt Jen, or more importantly, her sons, or Sharif, somebody who's truly innocent. I mean, but of course, didn't care who he hurt along the way. He just wanted everybody to see that he was saying bad things about Lisa in defense of his wife. They're idiots. All right, so now Heather walks outside to see what the commotion is. And you guys, the first thing out of Angie H's mouth is, don't look at us. Oh, God. First of all, I wish I didn't have to look at you. Secondly, yes, of course, because ruining the surprise about your costumes is way more important than what's going on here. Your partner doesn't even want to be dressed like you right now. So Heather said, Jen, what's going on? Because, of course, when she walked out there, it was Jen that was yelling at Angie. Jen's all fired up. She accidentally hyped herself up is what happened. Nobody in line is hyped up, by the way, except for Jen. So Angie H said, Heather, do you know my husband to be a bad guy? Heather, no. Jen, he set up an account called Shah Exposed. And then Heather has been confusing me lately because I love her. I loved her to death. She was the voice of reason person for me. I think she's super funny. She's got a good sense of humor. She almost always cracks me up in her confessionals. But this year, I feel like I've been disagreeing with her a little bit. And this is another one of those instances. She's like, listen, you don't define somebody by one thing. And he took accountability for it. And he said he was sorry. Oh, are you telling me, Heather, that if he created an account called Heather Gay is a Liar, that you'd be okay with that if he apologized later? Anyway, she's like, he came to you and Jen goes, no, because I talked to him about it. He got caught. That's why he called me. Angie H. Do you know how many fake Instagram accounts are out there? What? Let's say 74 billion. What's your point? The only one anybody cares about is the one your 52-year-old thirsty husband, the poor man's Zach Galifianakis, created to troll Lisa using Jen's last name. In Heather's confessional, she said, let's be clear. Jen Shah is in a washing machine of turmoil right now because she's being indicted on federal charges and facing a prison term, not because she's being trolled on Instagram by Chris Harrington. I don't get, Heather's very first reaction was, that's a big deal. And now I think she forgot that she said that. It is a big deal. Even if she didn't have this whole trial, the name Shah Exposed implies that someone in the Shah family was doing something they shouldn't have been doing, and now it's been exposed. Okay, so now Lisa shows up for her audition. She thinks she's doing it as an act of support for Heather, a step in the right direction for their friendship, but I'm pretty sure Heather feels like it's aggressive. Heather's like, why are you here? Do you really want to join a choir? Lisa, I'm here for Heather Gay, to support her on her mission for spirituality her own way. Okay, I mean, that was actually kind of nice. I like how she worded it. She knew what Heather was trying to do, create this choir that, would be inclusive and stuff like that. In Heather's confessional, she likes it. She said that, I think this is Lisa's way of saying, I'm sorry and showing up to support me. Then she goes, I still can't stand her. But so Lisa sings and she does a great job. or an okay job. I don't know. I can't tell anymore. It's not when the Saints come marching in, so I think I automatically think it's great. When she comes out of the audition, Heather's random friend Dana and Angie K, and they're all congratulating her. Well, except for Angie H, who's just kind of sitting there like a sad nutcracker. In Angie H's confessional, the producer asks, "What do you miss most about your friendship with Lisa?" Angie H, "Not a lot, Lori." So now Angie H goes to find Whitney to go over the routine real quick one more time. Jesus, again? I think I memorized the routine at this point. So Lisa feels like the weird tension, and Rando Dana fills her in. Side note, I think I'm going to have to stop calling Dana a rando because she is proving herself to be an integral part of this show. She has the role of narrator, which I appreciate. Earlier, she's like, I think we should explain. And now she's like, I think we should fill Lisa in. Like, she's the one who wants to avoid miscommunication. And dare I say, Dana is what's been missing from a lot of these Housewives shows. The narrator who will explain to the ladies what's been going on so that there are no confusions. Oh boy, it's time for the Flapper twins to perform. It was inevitable. Angie H seems to have brought her own trophy, which might be actually kind of funny. Okay, so, the routine was more dance than sing. So, maybe a choir audition is not the right fit, but it was blissfully short, and thankfully it is over now. Meanwhile, Lisa, after being filled in, goes to talk to Jen, who's still very upset. She's actually fuming at Heather. She tells Lisa, I want the whole group to get together and talk with everybody there. Because if Heather tries to tell me, get over it, I swear on everything I love, I will tell her to f off. The only reason you're friends with Angie is her fat elf-on-the-shelf husband you think is going to feed you and put you on a yacht. Well, guess what, bitch? You're a motherfucking cheap date. Wow. Okay. I mean, Jen appears to be harboring a lot of resentment toward Heather because that was kind of vicious. As much as I appreciated the elf-on-the-shelf reference, the rest of it was like, ooh, okay. Pretty mean toward Heather. That's the kind of speech that when Heather sees it, it will be something that affects the relationship at the reunion. You know what I mean? Okay, so now all the ladies gather on those couches, and the auditions must be over because Heather is there too. Seating is admittedly limited, but Angie H sits on Heather's lap. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Jen loves that. Sitting on her lap, hugging her. In her confessional, Jen said, well, Heather is clearly sending a message. With Angie H is literally sitting on your lap. You may as well breastfeed her. Please don't. Isn't it bad enough we had to see those costumes? So anyway, Jen is kind of crying and she says to Angie, I was very triggered. Shah is our last name. So when somebody types Shah exposed, because Chris thinks I need to protect my wife, he's saying, I don't matter, you do. Angie H, I am so sorry. That's the first time she said that. I want to see you raw. I appreciate this more than anything. I want to see you raw? That's mean. I guess she means like instead of just yelling at me, you just being real and vulnerable and telling me this, how much this hurt and why, like that I can deal with. I don't know. I can't imagine telling anyone. I like to see you raw. I love to see you raw and hurting and in pain. Jen tells Heather that she is what hurt her most. She's like, you dismissed it like, oh, well, they apologized. That's it. And Heather goes, no, I was not dismissing it. Angie H. To Jen, you have been nothing but lovely to us and to my husband, and he cares about you. And he did not show it in an appropriate way. Well, I'll say, he cares about you, and he didn't show it in an appropriate way. Yeah. Well, Lisa can't believe what she's hearing because no one's apologizing to her, and that whole account was created. Yes, it used Jen's name, which was bad, but it was created to troll Lisa. So Lisa's like, this is unbelievable. And so she kind of turns to Angie K, like, I can't. Angie K, leave. Angie K she might be trouble too. She's like, yeah, leave. And Lisa goes, yeah, seriously. So she gets up and somebody says, Lisa, we can't leave. And Lisa goes, I'm done with this. Angie H, you bully everyone online. Lisa, I don't. And I only have one account and it has my face on it. Angie H, what about Twitter? Okay, so now Angie H wants to remind Heather that Lisa posted her father's obituary because Lisa goes ballistic. I posted the truth. She used her dad's death to lie about me. Heather goes, you said you were my friend and that you cared about me, and then you went on social media and showed the opposite. So you were fake. Lisa, I told the truth. Heather, the truth is you have no friends left, Lisa. Lisa, did you guys hear this? She said I have no friends left. Who's not my friend here? Raise your hand. Well, Heather raises her hand, and then very quickly after that, her ventriloquist dummy raises her hand. No one else, though. Lisa, Heather, I wanted to be in a good place with you. You said I wasn't there for you when your dad died. Heather, you weren't. Lisa, I texted you when I found out he was in the hospital and the day he passed. Heather, he was in hospice when I got, hope he's feeling better. And it just felt a little callous. And, a little bit cover your ass. Lisa, it was not. Now Heather gets up. I think people are getting up. Heather gets up and she's like, fine. You're allowed to clear your name, and I lied. And you're the best. You're awesome. Your character is in perfect standing. I also don't like when Heather gets like that because I think Heather could apologize to Lisa. I think there is a way that Heather could say, you're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that you texted me after he died. It's just that we were so distraught. He was in hospice. We were waiting for him to die. My entire family was wrecked. And then it just felt like your little hope he's feeling better felt callous. Like she said, she could have just said it just felt a little too lighthearted for the moment. And I'm sorry, because you probably didn't know what stage we were at with my dad. I think that would have been a way to get through it. But now I feel like Heather doesn't want to take any blame for lying, which she actually did. To be clear here, if she didn't know he died, that's not really Lisa's fault either. Yeah, it's awkward and horrible and uncomfortable and nobody would ever want to do that, but it would have been just an innocent mistake. I don't think anyone's accusing Lisa of knowing that her father died and then sending that just to be ugly and mean. Anyway, in Heather's confessional, she said, she's missing the big picture. She cleared her name, but devastated my feelings. Again, I'm torn here. I believe that Heather saying that Lisa did it after his death at the reunion in such a very, very public way did give Lisa a right to want to clear her name publicly. Posting the obituary, that seems, I wouldn't have gone that far. She could have shown the text thread with the date, and then after that said, sadly, Heather's father passed on the 17th. Okay, moving on. Ew. We are at Meredith and Seth's. They are taking a bubble bath together. Ew. Didn't we all collectively agree after we saw Tamara and Eddie in the bathtub together that we didn't need to see that anymore on the Housewives? No? Was that just me? I thought we all agreed. Seth has apparently filled the tub with cold water. Yeah. Meredith's like, it's cold. And he says, because it's about to get so hot in here. Ew. They have a chat. Meredith doesn't like when he has to leave for work because she misses him. She's gotten used to having him around. And then she's putting her toe in his butt or something. Do I need to say it? Ew. Meredith starts telling him about the tension between Heather and Jen. And she goes, this all ties back to the Finsta. Meredith thinks that Heather's in a tough spot when you're close to both people. You know what just occurred to me? Where was Meredith? I bet she left the audition early. Or wait, no, I think she was sitting there. Oh, okay. I think she got lucky that Angie H didn't say, Meredith, when we were out to dinner, you and Seth told my husband, don't worry about the Finsta account. Hey, you were defending your wife. That could have blown back on Meredith, and maybe it still will, but for now anyway, Meredith just kind of sailed through that day. The next scene is kind of a throwaway scene. It's just Heather and Dre checking out the construction site where the new beauty lab is going to be built. I guess it's going to be huge, way bigger than the one in the strip mall, but it's got a long way to go. It really is just kind of the bare bones. Next is a dinner with Lisa and John. They talk about her sisters, they're getting divorced and that maybe they're putting too much on Lisa. And Lisa says she feels like she needs to reconnect with God. Next, we are at home with Jen and Coach. Jen apparently lost her voice hyping at the auditions. And, let's be real, she was also screaming a lot at Angie H. Anyway, she tells Sharif that they talked about the Finsta account that Chris Harrington set up. And Coach is like, it upsets me more than you'll ever know that a grown man, 52 years old, would stoop this low. Now Coach does get very upset. He's like, I will never understand people that pile on. Because which insult, which post is the one that causes you to say, I'm tired of it, and then hurt yourself or do something that you can't come back from? And he's right, these are adult women, but this is the kind of insane stuff that happens with teenagers. Getting cyberbullied. That is I am so glad that when my daughter was that age, they didn't have all this. And I am very happy about that because it's horrible. You think about how anonymous someone can be, some idiot sitting in his mother's basement, being a keyboard warrior, typing away stuff that he knows will never come back to him. And then you think about teenagers doing that to each other, and it's so bad. This is why teen suicide, kids, have killed themselves over stuff like this. It's horrible. It is just horrible. So I understand what Coach is saying. I'll never understand people, adults too, 52-year-old man, doing stuff like that to attack women? Really? To defend your wife? Anyway, he thinks that the way that you sought attention should be the exact way that you apologize. So in other words, he created this account, got all kinds of attention, I think because he used the Shah name and saying Shah exposed. Coach thinks that he should also then publicly, on Instagram, I guess, state his apology to Jen for using that name. And then Coach said, and leave it up for as long as the original account was up. Not a bad idea. So I guess the choir auditions were on Wednesday, and Jen tells him, on Thursday, Heather sent me flowers. And, Jen's kind of like, yeah, they're sorry, not sorry flowers. And Coach, he just said that if the reaction of your friend didn't feel right to you, maybe you need a new friend. He said it much more poetically than that, but you get the idea. Next, Whitney and Lisa are on a play date with their sons, Henry and Brooks. They're in a park somewhere, and they sit down to have a chat. In Whitney's confessional, she said, I used to be triggered by Lisa's big sister energy, but now I see and can understand she actually does care a lot. They have a pretty deep conversation about Justin, being home all the time now that he lost his job. Whitney feeling pressure as the breadwinner right now. Lisa talks about her sisters and their divorces and wanting to feel compassion, but not be weighed down by it. Then they get into the thing with Heather. Lisa, if Heather didn't use her dad to lie about me, then I wouldn't have used her dad to tell the truth about me. And her dad should have been off limits to her. Yeah, Lisa doesn't feel like she's done anything to warrant anybody not being friends with her. She goes, in the most ridiculous, childish way. Who doesn't want to be friends with Lisa? That was you that said, raise your hand if you don't want to be friends with me. That wasn't Heather. Heather raised her hand in a childish way because you asked for a show of hands. So Whitney likes that Lisa puts boundaries on her relationships, like how much she'll take on. And Whitney wants to remain friends with Heather, but she's having trouble navigating it, she says. And Lisa goes, which part? And Heather said, we were so close. And I'm trying not to be a people pleaser, but when Justin lost his job, she never called me. There's distance between us and it's uncomfortable. And Lisa's like, welcome to my world for the past 3 years. Okay, next we are at Heather's and Whitney comes over for a little chat. Whitney's like, I'm not here to fight with you. We're friends. We can talk through hard things, right? Blink, blink. And Heather goes, absolutely. So Whitney says that, she's trying to work through things like newly discovering this childhood abuse. And Heather said, I'm trying desperately to be there for you. I know I did a lot wrong in Arizona. Whitney, but more has happened since then. Like when Justin was fired, you didn't pick up the phone and call me. Heather looks shocked. And she goes, I didn't know Justin was fired. I had no idea. Whitney, I wanted to call you, but there has been space that we didn't have before. Okay, so you can't really get mad at Heather if she didn't know. The only reason Lisa knew is because she said it was all over social media. So I don't know if Heather knew or didn't know, but Heather says she didn't see it. Heather's feeling confused because Whitney came to the audition with a dance routine and everything, and she said that didn't feel like somebody who was distant and couldn't tell me when their husband lost his job. So Whitney goes, I showed up to support you because you had an event. And Heather goes, but you're harboring resentment. Whitney goes, I'm not harboring anything. I'm just calling out the awkwardness. Well, Heather is taking offense at this whole conversation. And I think she's doing kind of what she did to Lisa. When it gets uncomfortable for her, I think, you know what? And she said this a couple times, but I think the stress of doing so much all at the same time is really getting to her. She's writing the book, she's opening this new beauty lab, and I think she just can't. Stuff's going on with her kids, she said. I don't know what, but I think she's having a hard time keeping up with everything. Or there's something else that's going on with her, but I think Heather's been a little off. She's been a little touchy, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word, but she's like, well, I'm glad I had an event that you could show up to like a hero, even though I'm the asshole that didn't talk to you for 2 weeks. And Whitney's like, it's not like that, Heather. And Heather goes, it's hard for Lisa to let go of things too. Whitney, we were both making progress with Lisa. Now I feel like, great, how's this gonna work? And Heather goes, do you feel like you're stuck between your loyalty to Lisa or me? Whitney, no. The whole Twitter thing came out of nowhere, and I was mad at her for that. But she feels like she was defending herself, and I can't argue with that. We're not hearing Lisa's side of it. Oh, no. Heather is pissed. I love that you're defending Lisa when you know how much she hurt me. You want to walk in here like I'm a bad friend who wasn't here for you when you were in a huge crisis. That's unfair and untrue. It crushes me that you would take this opportunity to exploit me like that. If you're going through something and I'm unresponsive, tell me. I'm in trouble for a rumor I didn't hear. I'm in trouble for a horrible event in your life that I didn't know about. I'm in trouble for not reaching out to you when your husband lost his job. I'm sorry I don't get all the gossip. I don't want to sit here with you, my best friend, my cousin, and have you sit on my couch and explain to me why I shouldn't be hurt by what Lisa did. Whitney, I'm not representing for Lisa. It's just a conversation. Every time I bring up Lisa's name, you think I have her back. I'm trying to figure out what the lie is, Heather. What is the lie? Okay, well, Lisa already told you because you said the same thing to her. What was the lie? And Lisa told you. Now you're asking Heather. Heather gets up on her feet. She's like beside herself. The lie was when I said in LA, my dad died and you texted me 2 days later, hope your dad's feeling good. And that was a lie. She storms off and slams the door. Whitney goes after her, knocks on the door, opens it, trying to talk to her. But you know what? Heather's not having it. She's done. She's like, I did my work for the day. I'm out. I think she's talking to the cameras too. And she said, thank you for coming over. goodbye, goes back in her bedroom or wherever, slams the door behind her, and Whitney leaves. And that is the end of episode 7. Yeah, it's rough. It's a strange season, isn't it, you guys? Like, I think there's more going on with Heather and Whitney. I just feel like there has to be. If this is all for the cameras, I mean, Heather really seemed upset. So I don't know why there's such a wedge between those two. That surprises me. But also, I was surprised by the venom that was like pouring out of Jen when she was talking about Heather. Stuff like she's a cheap date and you just want to be around them because they have money. Like, there's more going on, between Jen and Heather than her just being mad about this one, the account Shah exposed. Like, there does seem to be some like deep resentment there too. So I don't know. Feels a little weird this season. I'm uneasy with Meredith and Lisa not being besties. I'm uneasy with Lisa and Whitney being besties. It's strange. Anyway, we'll just see where it goes. All right, as always, please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And please consider subscribing to Jill Informed if you have not yet done so. Also, leave a comment. I love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you have any thoughts about the episode, about the ladies, I want to hear it all. And one last thing, with the holidays coming, if you are an Amazon shopper, click on any one of the links in the description box below. I will earn a small percentage of your purchases. So please consider that. I think that's it. I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.